Donald Trump to me is a bit of a cult leader. I feel as though ever since TikTok got bought out by American companies for the American part of TikTok, we have been indoctrinated into a new wave of a lot of Donald Trump propaganda. Now, I've tried to curate my algorithm on most websites in order to where I don't get hit with a bunch of nonsense and gobbledygook, but that often doesn't work for me because I naturally get into a lot of drama fights, and I watch a lot of people get into a lot of drama fights. I love commenting on stuff and making arguments. It's so fun. So, naturally, I get a bunch of stuff. And recently, I've been seeing a lot of what I consider to be the MAGA cult of TikTok going crazy. Now, I have found a bunch of videos and we're going to look at them to see what's been going on with a lot of MAGA TikTok, which I didn't think was a real thing, but let's go ahead and see. So what we have here first is this guy talking about his friend that is in MAGA.
I knew it was over with this MAGA friend of mine when I found out how he looks up information. We were arguing about the lyrics of a song. It was No Problem by Chance the Rapper. The line is, I'm so high, me and God dapping, like throwing dap. He swore up and down, I'm so high, me and God dabbing, like dabbing, which clearly not. So I Googled No Problem, Chance the Rapper lyrics, and I went down to where the part was, screenshotted it, sent it to him. He clearly Googled, I'm so high, me and God dabbing, what he already thought, so that he could find someone else who was wrong, who had posted that on the internet and screenshotted that and sent it to me. It's this like confirmation bias that they look for. They don't just Google what's the answer to this question. They Google the answer that they're looking for.
This is how ChatGPT works. This is how AI works. This is how most chat models work. You get the information you're already looking for and then use other people to reaffirm the echo chamber of what you're looking for in that confirmation thing. And this is a good example of how the MAGA cult, or more so how it operates and how it continually feeds its own echo chamber of mind, thought, and process, because it attributes to every single process in life. And it is a horrible, evil way to live your exact life. Imagine if I said, yeah, I'm allergic to peanuts. Boom, we grasp it. I'm allergic to peanuts. We understand that. And then someone else said, well, I have a friend who can eat peanuts and they're not allergic to peanuts. And I said, well, I'm allergic to peanuts. Me personally, I'm allergic to peanuts. And then they said, no, peanut allergies aren't real. And I said, Google it. Google if peanut allergies are real. And then he Googled, okay, peanut allergies have been disproven by this scientist right here. And it said, you're looking at a Scientologist using pseudoscience. Yeah, but somebody with science degree said it. It's getting to the point where that's where we're at right now, especially with this video, which we'll watch the rest of.
So they can find 50 other wrong idiots and be like, see, this is what everybody's saying. This is the information that I thought was correct. It is correct. No, you're just Googling what you already think and finding other wrong people, which is why like flat earth and all this stuff exists, because if you think a certain thing, you can find 1,000 other wrong people who are already saying that stuff. That's just how MAGA stays in their little echo chambers right there. They don't care about what the truth to the question is. They care about, this is what I think is right. I'm looking for a screenshot where somebody else says that I'm right. So I'm just going to Google what I think and I'll find it. Really frustrating.
It's a strange way how they operate, where people in the Trump mindset do this nonsense where they want themselves to be correct in all points in time. And this isn't just this one-off instance. It's in every single facet and aspect of life where they do this nonsensical mental gymnastics, I would call it. You can see it in this video as well.
Demons real?
Yes, absolutely.
What are demons?
Who do you think is behind hatred, violence, murder, spirits of suicide, and all that? That's Satan. It's demons, demonic spirits.
A school was destroyed. It's full of girls. It was bombed. Do you think Satan was behind that?
Yes, absolutely. He's behind all the violence and hatred.
So when the U.S. bombed the school in Iran, do you think the Satan was the one behind that?
No, I don't, because those young kids, a young child, will go to heaven if they die.
See, that's the level of mental gymnastics that happens every single time that happens. And it's such a interesting mindset to see somebody actively deny the truth behind a situation simply to fit their own worldview when they don't want to be incorrect about something. It's a very horrifying mindset to ingest inside of your brain, body, mind, and spirit, to have information that is horrifically incorrect. You are incorrect about your statement. You are wrong about what you're doing. And then using said information to confirm some biases that you have about the world just to not be incorrect. It feels damaging to how humans grow and how we adapt, and the big human project, the Great America project in itself. It's allowing idiots to coalesce and come together. Because I have this theory. This is my theory here. Back in the day, there was one idiot in one village. And everybody knew the person was an idiot. He lived at the furthest house at the edge of the village. Nobody had to talk to him. But he'd come into town maybe every Wednesday and he'd say, the earth is flat. And oh my goodness, I just saw a werewolf. And everybody would say, good on you, Jimmy. You saw the werewolf. It's amazing. I have videos and evidence of all the stuff I've seen. And the world is being destroyed. The meteor's coming. And he'd say all this crazy stuff. Nobody accepted what he'd say, and everybody else was going about their lives. And he was looking for at least one person, but he never did. He never found it. This is back in the day. He just was crazy his whole life, and he just died that way crazy. Now, let's do a Jimmy now. Jimmy posts, I think the earth is flat. And he's looking for one person to agree. He gets one like on his post. Oh, I got one like. And someone else says, I've always thought the earth was flat. They're hiding something. So now he has somebody to talk to. Little Jimmy can speak to somebody else. Little Jimmy begins to talk to this person over and over again. And this person is in another village, existing on the far edge of the village. Nobody else to talk to him. So now we got two people doing that. And then those two people say, let's make another post. And then every post Jimmy makes, that person at the far edge of the village makes, until eventually 10 people, 10 separate people do that. Then these 10 people organize, and then these 10 people make 100 posts a day. That's 1,000 posts. 10 people making 100 posts a day is 1,000 posts. And then eventually, you're going to think, well, there's a lot of posts about this, and I keep finding it all over Google, so they continually do it. So now, they continually go and go and go. And then these idiots, these 10 people in these villages, find every other village. And there's millions of villages over and over again. Until eventually, every time they post something, they're getting about, I don't know, 1 million likes on the post. Whether it's the most inflammatory, disgusting, nasty thing you've ever seen. It's just gross and nasty. And so, a regular person, a person that doesn't exist on the outer confines of the village, goes on the internet. Goes on the internet and sees the post with 1 million likes and thinks, wait a second, it has 1 million likes. There's like 10,000 people in this village. Does everybody in this village think the earth is flat and I'm the crazy one? So now you start thinking you're crazy because you're not agreeing with the 1 million posts you see online. And because nobody meets in the town square anymore, and nobody talks to each other, the people who were already crazy, who already didn't have anybody, have dominated the internet. They've been on the internet for years. They've been living inside of these hidey holes for years, and they've been living inside of these little small Quasimodo ass bell towers and just enjoying the aspect of listening to that bell ring and their own voice echo inside of their head. It's over with. They're speaking to gargoyles and demons and spirits, and now you start doing some research into these people. You look into them and you say, well, if this many people believe it, it has to be true. Because we as a society believe that bigger number means smarter. Oh, he's got 1 million likes. He's got $1 million. He's got 1 million people. Oh my goodness, he's doing great. He has so many people following him. He must be amazing. Listen, we have allowed the worst people to become famous. People who are just loud, inflammatory, and charismatic. That's all they are. They are angry, loud, charismatic, and we don't listen to experts about any subjects. People who spend years researching a subject don't get famous. You know what they get? Ridicule, hate, vitriol, spit, murr. You hate to see it. That's what they get. That's what happens. That's the reality of the situation of what happens to most people. It is not healthy. It is not healthy at all to see that. It's just very, very nasty. Not a fan of it. Not a fan of it at all. But this isn't the only two examples, because we have a cult leader that's actively encouraging the insanity of the world. What we have is a man who cannot be wrong about anything in any capacity. And people of all creeds and races and spectrums are prostrating themselves just for this man, such as this person right here.
everything, it should say you are wrong about it. Your hat says Trump was wrong about everything. It should say you are wrong about everything.
That's adorable.
All right. The board is clear. The board is clear.
Burned. Pam Bondi wrote that for you?
Just a strange thing to bring up Trump at some random hearing. Don't know why he did that. People are allowed to express whatever they want to. It's just strange to do that. And also, did you know, and this is a fun thing you can do to combat a lot of MAGA people, it's legal to refuse service to MAGA people. And that's right. Let's go check this out.
Kicked out of places because it's not a protected class. They always cry that it's discrimination against their political beliefs, but because it's a characteristic that can change and that you choose, the law does not recognize it as discrimination. For instance, if I don't like cops, that's not discriminating against cops because you choose to be a police officer. But if I say, oh, I don't like so-and-so minority, that is actively hate speech and discrimination. And the reason why is because people cannot choose their race or the amount of melanin they have or which country they were born in or their nationality, etc. Those types of things you're not able to discriminate against versus choosing to wear MAGA merch. Again, you chose to do that and to walk into an establishment. Any restaurant has the right to refuse service to anyone for any reason, and you'll often see signs in places by the beach saying no shirt, no shoes, no service. So in the eyes of the law, your MAGA gear is about as valid as deciding to walk into a restaurant barefoot. Someone could easily refuse you service for that. It might hurt your feelings and you might try to file a lawsuit, but that doesn't mean you have actual legal ground. I'm not a lawyer, but this is my understanding of the law. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong.
This need to want to be discriminated against, to have something to complain about, has always baffled me and fascinated me to such a high degree. I've never met people who want to be discriminated against. If someone's being discriminated against, they will talk about it and complain about it, and then they will become a victim of discrimination. But people that want to have this victim mentality that goes crazy is a little bit nuts. And I can already hear the comments of somebody saying, there's this grit coming from you considering you're black. I am a black person, yeah, but I'm not being a victim of any, I'm not in any capacity. There are black people who do want to be victims. I agree. There are people in every group that want to be victims. I'm saying personally, I have not met these people, is what I'm saying. I'm saying in my personal anecdotal evidence and experience, I haven't met these people. Maybe you have, or maybe you've seen it online and are using that as your own experience because you don't want to have personal experiences with these people, because you don't want to experience the joy and beauty of life on the outside of your echo chamber of the online spectrum. It's killing me. And this is all propagated, and MAGA, Make America Great Again, is all propagated by one giant man who actively is always in the Epstein files.
Donald Trump's name is all over these files. All over it. I mean, thousands and thousands of times. If you spend any real time with these files, you will see references to 17-year-old girls, 16-year-old girls, 14-year-old girls, 11-year-old girls, 10-year-old girls, and I saw a reference today to a 9-year-old girl. So it's a really gruesome and grim story. And I think in order to see our way through this and to try to make progress on criminal investigation and prosecution and some kind of social redemption from this whole nightmare, we need to listen to the survivors.
I feel like we've completely forgotten about the aspect of this. We've actively forgotten the aspect that he is in the Epstein files. And I don't want to discredit that, because Donald Trump, while he is in the Epstein files, also does other really horrifyingly evil stuff. He will just do evil things for the sake of doing evil things. Recently, he tried to sue the IRS. He owns the IRS. Tried to sue the IRS for investigating him about his tax stuff. He tried to sue them for $10 billion. It was insane to do that. That's a crazy thing to do. But he tried to sue the IRS. Now, I think it's psychotic to try to do that. I think it's a little bit off your Gordon, off your rocker to try to sue the IRS. But that's just me. Personally, that's just me. So what we have here is him dropping the lawsuit now in order to make an anti-weaponization fund. He is trying to make a slush fund for his allies to do legal fees for the January 6th rioters that attacked the U.S. Capitol. That's what he wanted. He wanted this big slush fund to help with the legal fees, and anybody can apply for it. He just wanted to make sure that it went through. Now, this eventually got dropped, but I want to talk about this because this is what happened. This man explains it better than me, so we'll listen to him.
Earlier this year, Donald Trump sued the IRS. He demanded $10 billion from the federal government over the leak of his tax returns back in 2019. Think about just that for a second. The president of the United States sued his own government for $10 billion in his personal capacity. Here's where it gets worse. The Justice Department was supposed to defend the government against that lawsuit, but of course the Justice Department works for Donald Trump. So Trump's personal lawyers were negotiating against Trump's own Justice Department in a case where Trump controls both sides.
That's horrifying. It is the League of Super Evil investigating the League of Super Evil. We have found in the League of Super Evil that there is no wrongdoing. We've actually done a personal investigation of our own company, and we have decided that there is no wrongdoing. So I hate whenever I hear we've done an internal investigation and we found no wrongdoing. Who did the investigation? Well, we have trusted people. Did they really investigate, or did you just actively get your friends to do it? Well, they are people that we know, but they're good, trusted people, and we trust them. Dude, you have actively done such Ouroboros garbage, the snake eating its own tail. You have eaten yourself. I don't grasp why you would do that. What do you gain from investigating yourself? It agitates me. It's like when Mr. Beast investigated himself and he said, well, we found nothing wrong here. Dude, just don't investigate. Have an outside source investigate you. Don't rely on your own company to investigate you. That's crazy. But that's Donald Trump. He owns the IRS. He owns all this stuff. And he's suing basically himself for nothing. That's what it was. It's crazy. He investigated himself on this entire front. It's psychotic. Let's continue.
And the federal judge in Florida, no less, saw exactly what was happening. She ordered both sides to come into the court and explain whether they were actually opposing each other or whether they were just colluding to hand Trump a payout. That deadline was this Wednesday. So today, Monday, Trump's lawyers made their move. They dismissed the lawsuit. They told the judge that no judicial analysis is appropriate. They cut the judge out of the process altogether. And in exchange, the Justice Department announced a $1,776 million fund. Note the number, 1776, a wink to the founding of the country, attached to what I would call a scheme that I think the founders would have been apoplectic about. The money is going to be controlled by 5 people, all handpicked by Trump's Attorney General. They can pay out claims to anyone who says they were a victim of so-called weaponization by the Biden administration. And that includes the January 6th defendants that Trump pardoned. It could include entities tied to Trump himself. And this commission has no obligation to disclose how it makes the decisions. The Justice Department said Trump and his sons won't be paid directly. They'll just get an apology. But entities associated with the Trump family are not explicitly barred from filing claims. You know, we have tried to stop it. And unfortunately, Trump's lawyers are going to do whatever Trump wants, no matter how corrupt, no matter how unethical. Let me say very plainly what just happened. Donald Trump sued himself. He is settling with himself. He cut the judge out, and he's setting up a $1.8 billion slush fund of your taxpayer dollars to pay off his political allies without any court oversight, without any congressional approval or transparency. My Republican colleagues can't be bothered to do oversight. Never in the history of the U.S. has a sitting president sought a monetary settlement from the government he leads. This is the federal treasury being converted into a slush fund for Trump. And every American who pays taxes is the one who's funding it. Congress has to act. This is completely out of control.
Now I know Republicans are upset about welfare and all this other stuff, and very upset about single black moms, just wasting all the food stamps and things of sobriety because of taxpayer money. This is directly taxpayer money. And on top of this, Trump also, this is going to sound a little bit crazy, also cannot be investigated by the IRS from what I understand. Now, I don't know if this has changed because the anti-weaponization fund didn't really go through because it got a lot of backlash from a bunch of people because it was taxpayers' money. And thankfully, people wised up to that because it involved money. That's the best way to get somebody to understand something, by the way. If you personally attribute it to something that's going on in their life, you can make them understand. You can make them understand if you do that. That's the best way to do it. But it's all horrifying. I'm scared of what this means for the future of our country and the presidency. I am scared what this means for how corruption is being just exploited by hundreds of thousands of people, that people are just happy with it. And MAGA is too far up its own ass to really understand the evils that are being played with in front of our faces. I don't like this. But with that being said, the anti-weaponization fund didn't go through, so that's a W for us. With that being said, leave your thoughts and comments about how you feel about everything in the comment section down below. If you like my content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your nigga night, be my lover, happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you're free.